What's up, everybody? I think we're rolling here. I I wasn't expecting to be able to stream today. As some of you know, my wife is pregnant and ready to pop. So lately, it's been multiple appointments a week, and between making all those and my daughter and trying to get other stuff done, time has been like really tight lately. So I have about an hour here, a little bit over an hour between stops, and I wanted to jump on quick and do something today. And last night before I went to bed, I was actually on Kickstarter just a little bit, and surprisingly, I've never really been on and looked at some of the 3D printing campaigns. There's been some of the 3D printable, I should say, not 3D printed, but 3D printable terrain things that I've participated in. But I never found those by browsing. I always got like referred to them in one way or another and used direct links. So I thought we'd up, everybody in chat? Boy or girl? It's gonna be a boy. So we kind of lucked out. We have a girl and a boy, and we're gonna be done. Learn from my Trinus not to back them. The Trinus, I don't know how all that went out. Like I said, I've only followed a little bit. Um, it's actually how I found Dustin was the Tico drama. So I have seen some of it and like the Olo and a couple other minor catastrophes, and then like I'm into retro gaming if you can't tell, and there have been some horrible catastrophes with some retro consoles and emulators and stuff. So I kind of get how it goes, but at the same time, like I said, I've participated in multiple campaigns that were just fantastic. They provided decent products at a decent price in a timely manner, and I couldn't really have any thing to complain about. But what we're going to do is actually, there's not that many. I did do a quick search here. There's not that many campaigns, so I figured in an hour we should actually be able to go through all of the active campaigns, and this will just be basically an open discussion between myself and everyone here in chat, and we'll just check some things out and talk about what we think about them and the likelihood of them being successful, and yeah, just have a chill little day here. So check in chat here. What's up, Josh? Rose Tech, Prospector for life. Fun King, of course. Dr. Doofenberger. What's up, Bob? Bruce. What's up, everybody? Mac Vision. So I'm going to go ahead. The screen's going to be shared for the bulk of this, and we're just on the Kickstarter main page. And the most successful way to search for these I found is just to use 3D print. It seems to bring up most things. And you see here we have a bunch of stuff, and there's always, from what I've heard, there's always new things hitting these sites. So it says there's 866 projects, but that's not actually true. There's only, if we look, there's 4 wide with this layout. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not that many. There's probably less than 50. Because you see, as soon as we get down here, these aren't active campaigns anymore. These are all things that have already been funded or already failed, as is the case with many of these. But there are a couple cool things here. Just in the quick browsing I did, there are a couple cool things here that I wanted to talk about, and I'd like to see other people's opinions of. Logan says he's backed over 100 campaigns on Kickstarter without issue. Yeah, I think that's why, like, I'm hoping a video like this will be beneficial to some people, because it's going to expose them. You kind of live in a bubble when you look at this stuff by yourself and you're trying to come to your own conclusions. So hopefully between myself and some of the people here in chat that have experience with this sort of thing, this video might be useful to someone who's considering funding a Kickstarter. And also, if today goes okay and is received well by people, we'll probably do the same thing for Indiegogo, because while they're both crowdfunding sites, there are some notable differences between Kickstarter and Indiegogo that we'd get into whenever we cross that bridge. All right, so let me get my windows sorted out here. I buckled to the spinners. I have a huge request order. 200 bearings on the way. Man, that's what I said. Even if you think, little sidetrack here, even if you think spinners are like the dumbest shit in the world, if you have a 3D printer, you should probably be making some, because it's an easy source of cash. As some of you know, I have an ANET A8 that I got recently, and I've been printing with, and that thing has almost exclusively been printing spinners since I've gotten it, and I've been setting that money aside to buy an A6, and that thing has almost paid for an A6 just selling spinners off of it. So even if you hate them, you should probably be making some and selling them on the side. All right, so moving forward, we're just going to go in order here, and I'm going to open these in new tabs so we can keep our main search page clean here. Hopefully we don't have the sound captured here. Let me sort that out really quick. We're going to capture the audio from this, and we're going to watch some of these videos. Let's check the levels here. I think we got it here. So the first one here is Matte Forge, and this is a Filament campaign, which these have always been kind of odd to me. Filament, it's like one of those things. It's like if you can manufacture filament, it's just do it. This is, I don't know, it's kind of an odd one. It's a matte low gloss finish right off the print bed. Reduces the visibility of printed lines. If you have printed with like a matte filament, let's kick that down a little bit. If you've ever printed with any kind of matte filament, it really does hide layer lines. It's almost like magic. And if you've ever printed with like super glossy filament, it kind of accentuates layer lines. I don't know. Honestly, their print quality looks kind of terrible on those, which is kind of funny for a demonstration video. Like, I don't know what you guys think, but the print quality there is, especially on these things, is not great. I don't know. I'll have neither, please. I don't know. It seems kind of cool. That's incredibly flexible for something that prints like PLA. But this campaign is funded, and it looks like it did it in relatively short order. Insaniac says, nowadays Kickstarters are just as much about getting your name out there. I agree. It's kind of like I want to say like guerrilla marketing, but it's not quite that. And then prices here. This is like a UK campaign apparently. £9 for a test pack. £23 for a spool. I don't know if that includes shipping. I would assume that does not include shipping. Maybe it does. I don't know. I don't really, like a campaign like this, I don't really have much to say about it. At least the prints in their photos here look a little bit better than the prints in their videos. Because those couple initial prints were kind of crappy. But I don't know. This is kind of an odd one for me for being a Kickstarter campaign. This is probably like in Insaniac was saying, this I don't know, is almost as much advertising as, I don't know. If you want to make some filament companies. 3D Print Express. I have seen some of these before. Reduce the printing time of your 3D pieces. Respecting original slicer structure. This just seems to be like the slicer variable layer height kind of technology. I don't know, and this isn't cheap. I mean, unless I'm missing something here. Yeah, this basically just seems to be offering the functionality of Slicer Prusa Edition's variable layer height for not really that cheap. £50 for a license, £40 for a license. Yeah, I don't know. Not very interested in that. I don't know what you guys think. Maybe I that's like the thing about some of these. Like, I guess you have to buy this, and I think it is a little bit telling that there's probably not that much interest in this. For one, it's a long campaign, and it has very little money thrown at it thus far. I don't know. To each their own, but this doesn't seem that interesting unless it's like a really profound level of optimization. But and I don't know. It doesn't really say if you can manually. There it says it's automatically going to optimize your layer height. So I would probably just prefer to be able to manually control it in something like Slicer. Anyway, not very interesting. This is one that, like, if any of you guys use Facebook, this one has been spammed to me a billion times, like literally a billion times. Not exaggerating. The Frozen Make, which this seems kind of cool. This is like a high resolution DLP printer, I believe. Which, if you've never seen that, SLA uses like the resin tub and a laser to actually UV cure the resin, and they're super high resolution. The prints are very smooth when they come out of the machine. DLP uses a. Do they have a picture here? DLP uses like a similar process, but instead of a laser, it uses like an LCD screen. And the problem it causes, I think they had. Do they have a little like picture here? It's nowhere near as smooth. I looked at this before. I thought they had a picture. We can pull it up. The prints aren't as nice. They really aren't. I thought this was actually from their campaign. And there is a noticeable difference. I've only, like, here's the Formlabs. As you can see here, like, this is an SLA printer, and it's super smooth. Like, the prints look fantastic. And with DLP, it's similar to FDM printers in the sense that there are very distinct layers because of the way the technology works. Like, it cures an entire layer at one time. So you get that kind of like voxel effect, even though it's kind of small. And you can see here, it's just, yeah, there's a difference. But I'm always wary of things like this. So this is one of those campaigns that I'll be watching. Their stretch goals are kind of weird too. So their stretch goals, and if anyone doesn't know, stretch goals, basically if a campaign raises over a certain threshold of money, they will add additional things into the packages that that people commit to. And like usually it adds like completely new functionality or new things. Like some of the file sets that I've participated in, they'll add completely new files to the sets and things like that. The stretch goals for this one kind of made me laugh the first time I looked at them. Triple fan cooling system, triple fans cooling system. It's like, does it not already have an adequate cooling system? Like, ones like this make me worry. And then if they raise another $70,000, they'll give you a really basic tool set to include with it. Like, you'll get some gloves. $70,000 and they'll give everybody some gloves. And then another $40,000 on that, which is like a weird, that seems to be a weird progression there. They'll give you a lid for your resin tank, or like a Teflon tank with a lid, which seemed like an odd one to me. DLP is better than SLA as far as quality, or Because as far as like the quality of the prints, I've actually sent away from samples. I forget what company it was from, but there's various companies that will send you samples of DLP and SLA prints. But the SLA prints I've seen have been better than every DLP print I've ever seen. Yeah, some $40,000 Tupperware. I just thought that was funny. These are such bizarre stretch goals. And in the product imagery, I mean, these printers are cool to watch, especially if you've only ever seen regular 3D FDM 3D printers. They are cool technology. There's this $40 or $70,000 gloves, not 40. But I don't know. It seems like a cool little machine. Because when they were pushing, like I said, they've been pushing the advertising on Facebook, like they do the paid ads and stuff. And they made the machine seem so much larger than it actually is. Because as you can see, the resin pool is approximately the size of a cell phone. High precision. Like a dentist is going to be buying this thing. Like, your dentist office is probably going to have, like, a $25,000 printer. But I don't know. It's a decent-looking little machine. And they boast about, like, the printing speeds, which I don't know. Like this. Like, watch out for... Beware of stuff like this. 10 times faster. Than what? Like, they don't say. Like, 10 times faster than what? Like, that's useless information. Wireless printing in 3 steps. It is nice that it's open to third-party resin, which as far as I know, like, most of these are open to third-party resin because they're just UV cure resins. So again, I don't know. I guess they're saying than FDM. But I don't know. It's this one is on my list of like things to watch. I'll be interested to see if anyone gets any of these and does any videos on them. Maybe like Angus. We need to push Angus to back this project and get one of these. Because how much are they? Okay. So we have the you get nothing for $1 pledge. And then we have like a lot of these are structured this way, where if you get in really early, you get a reduced price. So here for basically $940, you can get the base level, and apparently that saves you $300. They're going to retail for about $1,200. And it looks like there's, like, the chances of us seeing a video on this is probably pretty small because there's only 21 people that are getting them currently. And then here's the XL, which, as you can see, is a bigger machine. But if this one's only about the size of a cell phone, this still isn't that big of a build area. I don't know if they actually say. They don't even... Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, no, that's... The largest build volume is 7.5 by 4.7 by 7.9 inches. So basically 7.5 by 8 by 4. By 5, I mean. Which all of these do tend to have a smaller, like, resin pool build area than your, like, typical FDM printer. But I don't know. It looks like it's built well. It's mostly metal construction. It's like these. We're used to seeing like the the A8s acrylic and stuff. But yeah, like 3D printed Aspie said, the Wanhao D7 is a very similar printer. It could be the case that this has a higher resolution screen and stuff, or a higher quality screen. Because like someone mentioned earlier, they do have issues with these screens burning out and stuff. But Now, if somebody's out there with a little bit of cash to blow, buy this and a D7 and do some comparison videos. The only question I have, can it print a fidget spinner? Yeah. 10 times faster than the womb. But that's the Frozen make. Professional LCD 3D printing made accessible. I think, like was mentioned, the Wanhao D7 is a hell of a lot more accessible than this, and by all appearances is a very similar product. Actually, let's look at the D7 and actually compare the 3D printers. Here is, do they have it here? Oh, we went through this before. We went through that before where someone sent me a link to the D7 and I found it, but I couldn't find it directly through their site for whatever reason. So here's the D7, like we were saying. This is a very similar type of setup. Probably a little bit more inexpensive materials and stuff. But does it say the build area? 2560 by 1440 screen. And I think that's actually higher resolution than this. That is higher resolution than this. This is a... Is it? Yeah, it is 2500 by 1400. And this is a 2000 by 1080p. Or by 1080. So yeah, the D7 has a higher resolution LCD that it uses, which should give you higher resolution print. And this one, look at that, guys. This comes with gloves. This is obviously the superior printer. This gives it in millimeters. Damn it. I'm like terrible with conversions. So it's 120 millimeters to inches. So it's 4x7, 2x6. This is a smaller build area, for sure. It looks like it's narrower, but is otherwise similar dimensions. Yeah, it's almost identical dimensions, except it's a little bit narrower. But something to consider. I don't mean to burst anybody's bubble, but if you're all gung-ho about the Frozen make, you might want to check out the Wanhao D7. Anyway, moving on. The Clay Create from XYZ, this looked kind of interesting, and I actually know a few people that would be super interested in this thing.
Designing starts from a small idea to an incredibly magical one, and we love to bring our incredibly magical design.
Putting puzzles together.
The 3D printer is amazing.
That was a wasted 3 seconds of video.
Honestly boosted our efficiency, made it possible to make extraordinary things real. Now, introducing Clay XYZ, an incredible 3D clay printer, bringing your remarkable design.
This reminds me of the candy printer that Joel did, where it has like a syringe over to the side that actually feeds the material.
Let your imagination run wild. Make your own creative artwork. No matter what you are designing.
That's oh my god. Like, this is cool. I don't want to knock this thing, but like, we're used to such precision with our prints, and like that, guys, imagine if that came off your printer. And I'm in the Facebook 3D printing groups. I've seen prints like this off of FDM plastic machines, but yeah, there's some inconsistencies in that extrusion. some minor inconsistencies there. But this is cool. This is I think it's cool that there's things like this that are trying to expand the technology into other realms. I think the coolest thing, I've actually had a conversation or two with a couple friends about, like, I have a friend that does sculpting, and it would be cool to me if you could take that sculptable material with a machine like this, and like, say you were doing a human form, right? it'd be cool if you could make something like this relatively quickly that was basically like a skeleton of a sculpt, and then go ahead and move on from that point. And I know it'd be hard because the material would be softer, but it's cool to see the technology expanding and companies trying to do different things. But yeah, if you need to print some clay pots, this thing is available. And it's also kind of cool. Like here, you can actually just buy the extrusion device if you already have an FDM printer, which is kind of cool. So for $350, it's almost like buying the Prusa multi-material upgrade. It's like that kind of thing, where I guess they'll sell you just... I hope they have a picture of it here. Butt cheeks. Do they not have a picture of it? I thought that was a toilet seat at first. Oh, here it is. So it's kind of cool that they can show you, they can sell you just like the extrusion device to play with. It's kind of nifty. I don't know like what devices this is compatible with. I don't know if it's only like the MakerBot replicator in the Form 2. But it'd be cool to get one of these and try to retrofit it and have some fun with some clay. I don't get why the extrusion is so random. Like, look at the inconsistencies in that. And it's like obvious that this is the best they could get it to do, because this is the imagery they used for their campaign. Like even the rudimentary like pot making and stuff I've done, like recreating the scene from Ghost, like I did a better job than that, just with like a hand job on the clay. But I don't know. Interesting. If nothing else, stuff like this is interesting. Some thick extrusion lines. But yeah, then did they actually sell a complete printer? So you have the extrusion device for $350. Oh, it's always confusing. Like, I guess they have a limited number at a low price, and then if you don't make it in time, you can get the same thing at a slightly higher price. So there's the same thing for $50 more, and then it's $750 early bird for the printer, which they have not sold many of. they've sold 5 of these printers. But 33 people have picked up the extrusion device, so that's kind of cool. And then, like, it always is strange to me that people are like this. Like, people basically just wanted to like throw $30 at this to kind of make it a reality, which is kind of cool, I guess. But they have met their goal, and they have quite a bit of time left. So, again, I actually have a list over here written down. Like, this is the Clay XYZ is something that I want to keep an eye out for. I'll check back in periodically and see if they get shipped and stuff, and when they do, I'll try to look up some videos of people using them and stuff. Should definitely look at Glenn Allison's thing. What is Glenn Allison's thing? Glenn Allison. Let's take a look at this quick. This is I trust you that it's stream safe, but we'll pull it up to the side. Which I guess means I don't trust you. But that is what it is. I don't need dicks on stream. Oh, yeah, I have seen this. Okay. Yeah. I forget who brought this to my attention on was it Twitter? This is a toilet viewing device or bathroom cell phone viewing device, and it just so happens that the person is watching one of my streams in their test foot or test image. Because I said, I don't know how I feel about this. Like I'm all for people watching the stream, but I don't know how I feel with it happening in the crapper. So so yeah, that's a thing. That is yeah, that is Hallen is here. That was Hallen hats. We get it, man. I've done some viewing in the crapper on the throne. So that's cool. It looked like a nice file. So moving on, try to get through these. Developing a 3D printing app to assist independent users to establish a business model for earning income. I have no idea what they mean by that. Let's watch the video.
This is the arm right here, so let's put it.
This is also something too. I don't know if this is exactly what they're talking about, but I think Joel recently did a video on this, and it's something I've wanted to do ever since I got a 3D printer. There's various projects out there where you can print out and help people get access to prosthetics and stuff that otherwise really don't have the money to because they're insanely freaking expensive. We're going to be doing something with that in the future, and I'm kind of considering having one of my printers basically printing those things 24/7 if I can come up with a way to do it in a reasonable way. Kind of an aside, but if no one's checked that stuff out, it is worth checking out if you want to try to make the world a slightly better place. Because it's like this. It's mostly kids that have things happen where they need prosthetics. And we have... Basically, she's flicking everybody off. Yeah, let's tuck that down. We need a stronger spring on that middle finger there.
She was just out front riding it a little while ago. It's made it easier for her to balance.
This has nothing to do with anything. That's a terrible campaign video. Like that's a heartwarming little video. But this has nothing to do with anything.
Riding her bike, she was
right? I mean, are you guys in agreement? Like, yeah, like True Tech said, this is a completely noble cause. This has nothing to do with this person's campaign. That's an Associated Press story. The app will train the user in the use of 3D... like this, check your grammar, guys. The app will train the user in the use of the 3D printer as well as how to print... I read that wrong, I'm sorry. Structures and products using special software developed for the app along with various application software. This is one of those where I actually don't know how this is still in Kickstarter. It is expected to take from 3 to 5 months to write and test the SW, I guess they mean software, with beta testing to follow shortly after. So they don't have anything, right? So they don't have anything. They don't even have like a prototype version of their software. And if I had to guess, this one backer is probably someone related to this campaign. For one, you don't need $350,000 to do a startup for an app that you want to like try. If you have the ability or the desire to create something like this, you would have already made something. Yawn, what year is this? All right, so that one kind of sucked. An 80-watt hotend allows 10 times quicker printing than a customary printer. Fundamental requirement for big printing. So there's like an E3D V6 clone, it looks like. So this basically just looks like a dual heater block. That is a big old nozzle, I'll give them that. A 3mm nozzle. Nothing shows the speed of your print quite like a time lapse. I don't know. That's kind of cool, I guess. A non-functional prototype. There's their functional prototype, I guess. And you can see it's basically just a heater block with 2 heating elements. I don't know why they're kind of staggered. But that's kind of cool. I don't know how many people really need something like that. I guess it's just for like rough prototyping and stuff. Anyway, it looks like they're probably not going to hit their goal. That is a super low goal. Holy crap. This is one of those. I didn't realize their goal was so low. That was real time. Yeah, right. I wish printers functioned like that. This is, and again, I don't at all mean to knock this Kickstarter, but honestly, if you're looking for $2,000, how can you not come up with that on your own? If that's honestly what they need to prototype this and get a marketable item, which isn't, it's going to take more than $2,000. How can you not come up with that on your own? Like that's crazy to me. I'm a poor bastard, and I could come up with $2,000 if I needed to. Yeah, there's your BS pledge where you're just basically saying, here's some money. I don't want anything. You can get a t-shirt for 20 pounds. Here you can get a nozzle pack. I guess they are volcano style compatible. That's actually fairly inexpensive. 36 pounds for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nozzles. 6 big old thick nozzles. And I guess even the heater block, you receive the heater block. I don't understand. Is that like the complete heater block, or is that literally just the block that you can basically put on like an E3D? Oh, they even say there's their heater block on an E3D hot end. Okay. So I don't know. At the very least, at least this isn't insanely expensive. So it's kind of like just a big old beefy heater block that you could get to modify your existing hot end to play around with some thicker extrusions. That's kind of interesting. I'll give them that. That's kind of interesting. It's an interesting approach. That probably makes a little bit more sense if they are a startup than trying to design their own complete hot end. 1.75 filament through a 3mm nozzle. They set low goals to ensure they get cash to walk with. You have sucked at life if you can't borrow $2,000 from family. I know, and this isn't even like that good of advertising. Like we talked earlier about how some of these are just basically a relatively inexpensive way for them to get their name out there and stuff. They're not even really doing that. They don't appear to have a website or anything. They don't really have a brand name that you're going to remember. They don't even have a name, apparently. But no, I think now that I see what it is, I think the concept is interesting. Their video didn't really communicate exactly what their concept was. That basically this is just a bolt-on to an E3D hot end that allows you to print really, really thick extrusions. Imagine your extruder motor trying to pump 1.75mm filament down to this thing to print on a 3mm nozzle. It's just going to be like running full speed. So that's kind of interesting. I'll probably add that to my list over here. because the campaign does end. They don't have a timeline, I don't think. Estimated delivery in June. I guess it shouldn't take them much time to manufacture these because they are relatively simple and they only need to make like 10 of them. One backer. There's one backer for the actual heat block. Yeah, so their manufacturing time should be relatively short to make one. They probably don't even have to make one. They probably have one on hand that they'll just send to that guy. And I guess they do have the complete package here for 75 pounds, about $80 for 7 people. I don't know. It would be interesting to play with. I don't know how many people are really in the market for something like that. Moving on. This one I'd seen. This is up my alley. This is a train Kickstarter. These buildings actually look kind of nice. Like those are obviously photos. Some stills of Normandy. And then these actually look pretty nice. Obviously, like, your mileage is going to vary depending on how well you can paint. Because, like, these are actually painted fairly nicely. But these look like pretty nice pieces overall. Yeah, cool little files. Got your sniper team in the attic there. It's cool that they're all modular. Looks like they had totally like a Wanhao back there. Or a clone. So no, that at least is a kind of normal. Look at their goal. Holy crap. Pretty normal campaign. Sensible goals. And the cool thing is, like, Earl probably knows about this. The cool thing about terrain and file pack campaigns is generally that they already have the stuff made. Generally, they're not raising money to get things done. They already have it, and they're basically just selling it to you through the Kickstarter platform. And they do talk here about the printers they use, and it is a Wanhao. It's an i3 Plus. And they mentioned the ANET A8. Well, they call it an ANET 8. It's the A8. But no, pretty cool. This stuff is like up my alley. And these projects usually have like a bunch of stretch goals. Looks like they have a couple here to add. Again, since they have renders, they already have these files, so you're not really like gambling on whether or not they're going to make this stuff. They should already have it, especially if they already have the renders. So that's kind of cool about file Kickstarters. It's one of the things I like about them. Like there's their stretch goal number 7. They already have the stuff. They even printed some of them out, which is reassuring. But no, cool. I know this isn't for everyone. Even amongst like the tabletop gamers that I know, the file sets like this, the World War II stuff is like a small subset of an already small subset of people who 3D print. But no, these look actually fairly nice. If I wasn't broke, I'd probably be interested in picking some of these up. And the prices don't seem that bad, especially like that £5 for a Normandy house to give it a try. It's a pretty low buy-in. And then you see, just slowly ramps up. And then after about the £20 mark, you start to get a discount and you get multiple instead of like the £5 a piece. And then what's the big package? £40 or more. $42. I would say $42 for all the stuff, and especially if they like meet all their stretch goals, which they might not. Unlocked. Maybe they got them. Yeah, it looks like for £42 you're gonna get a pretty nice, or $42 you're gonna get a pretty nice chunk of World War II files there. Seems like a decent campaign, honestly. like I said, if I wasn't broke with child on the way, that seems like a solid campaign. Like those are the ones. Those are the things on Kickstarter that get me excited. Is like things like that where it appears they have their stuff together, they're ready to go, they have something that they want to sell you. You just give them their money and then you get stuff. Here's a similar one, slightly different. Looks like they have some laser cut stuff here. Universal Tile 3D printing 28mm tabletop terrain. Kind of a crazy name there. Again, pretty common with this type of campaign. Super small goal. Like they know that probably within the first 24 or 48 hours they hit their goal because they're not actually raising money to produce anything. They already have the stuff, I would assume. Not too impressive. I don't know. Are they selling the tiles or the accessories there? Not really digging that tile set. That is about as plain gets. It just struck me this isn't fantasy stuff. This is actually a modern supermarket. You see they have like coolers with beverages and shelves with cans and stuff like that. I realized there they have like a dishwasher and a like a range and a sink and stuff. That's kind of cool. The living room set, the office set. Got a diner. Oh, that's kind of cool. Most of this stuff ends up being like fantasy stuff, so it's kind of interesting. Insaniac looked into that Universal Tile campaign. They do not interlock. That's kind of a bummer, and it does appear to be the case. They're just square tiles. That is kind of a bummer because I've had a couple. I think I got them off of Thingiverse and printed them, and they end up shifting around. Like if you touch anything, it ends up moving, and it's kind of the appeal of the interlocking system. The nice thing is, like if they're terrain pieces, like they're actual like accessory pieces, like there's a little jukebox and some diner seating and tables and stuff. Like that's kind of cool. The lockers. Like I could see using some of this in like some sci-fi terrain layouts. Dumpster set, campsite set. They do have some cool things here. The log walls, they look like Lincoln log kind of building elements. But again, they don't interlock. So they are just going to be kind of sitting around. The petrol station, it's cool. They have some gas pumps. They do have a nice variety of actual like set pieces here. So while I'm again, I always just try to be like as honest as possible. Completely 1,000% disinterested in their actual like tile set. There's like a million things out there that I think would be better. But this stuff, there's a lot of cool stuff here, like the arcade games and stuff. Those are pretty nice. Little slot machine, air hockey table, like a pinball machine. That's kind of cool. It looks like they already have a bunch of the stretch goals unlocked, which is always a plus coming into a campaign like this. So it looks like everything but their last stretch goal is unlocked, and they're at 6,000. So they're at 5,700 pounds. So it looks like there's a really good chance they have like a little over a day left. There's a pretty good chance they'll unlock their last stretch goal too. They only need like $300 more for the modern bank set, which again it's kind of cool. There's not much of that stuff out there. It kind of sucks that these are add-on sets, but they seem reasonably priced, I guess. For some of these, the window and door set for $7 kind of sucks, but like the camp set for $7, camp set, yeah, or the garden set. I'm sorry, the garden set's kind of meh. This one seems like a decent set for $7 to get some gas pumps and a counter and some shelving and stuff. The cars are kind of ridiculous looking. But I don't know. There's some potential there. I can see probably some of the people who watch my channel. Uh-oh. I don't know, like that. If anybody watched the countertop video, that looks almost identical to the fronts on the countertops that we reviewed. This isn't Curafin, is it? The Halen terrain. It looks like we'll put it nicely. They've been inspired by the countertop set on Thingiverse. That is incredibly close to Curafin's design. But anyway, seems like a cool little Kickstarter. We didn't look at prices. How much is like the full $50 for most of the stuff is not bad, I would say. Not bad. And some of this, I wish they had slightly better pictures of the files being rendered, because sometimes you pull these into your slicer and the files aren't quite as nice as they made them seem. I know we've all been there on Thingiverse where things look kind of cool and then you pull them in your slicer and you're like, So I kind of don't understand. One, it kind of sucks they don't have a video. Videos are amazing to have for something like this. It's kind of weird that they have, like, this is laser cut wood, probably like laser cut balsa or something like that. I probably wouldn't have put that in my teaser image there, but... And they do say that this prints with no raft or supports, so... Which isn't surprising. They're all basically square objects, but that seems kind of cool. Yeah, Zapal, it looks very, very similar to Curafin's stuff. Same with, like, it's very similar. I hadn't seen this one before. 3D printed stud earrings to commemorate and celebrate Canada's 150th birthday. If this is these ladies' campaign, I guess you can't give them a hard time for...
Hi, my name is Ryan Norbury, and I'm the founder of Craft Tech Labs.
It wasn't theirs.
My initial inspiration are Anna and my sister Veronica were shopping for some cool-looking fast approaching PLA.
So he's basically trying to make a couple bucks on Kickstarter, making some earrings out of PLA. What in the hell printer is that? Look at the part cooling fan there. That is a tiny little printer. It's funny, that's what we're trying to find out about here. It's like what printer it is. Does anybody have any idea what printer that is? That is kind of like I don't know. I've never seen quite that setup. Hey, what's up, 3D Printing for Life? Have I thought about designing my own stuff? I have been working on stuff when I have some time, but I don't have anything finished to the point where like it's shareable. One of the things I've been working on periodically for a while now, if anybody watched the crossbow video from a while back, I started by modifying parts for that crossbow, and it's basically to the point now where I've designed my own crossbow. The mini select. It might be. The two of you saying that back to back is probably what is it, the mini select? It might be. Oh, yeah, it is. There's the tower. Yeah, it is. There's the white tower right there. That must be what it is. Because it's not a very big printer. It looks like there's basically a printed piece here to add a more substantial part cooling fan. Looks to be the difference. That's kind of cool. Good eye, guys. But yeah, not much to talk about here. Dude's printing PLA earrings. That we've talked about before. These are not ideal for things like this. If you'd wear this very often, you're probably going to have problems with bacteria on the backside here, because they print kind of porous, and it's a great little place for bacteria to stay. So if you ever do print anything like this, or happen to buy into this Kickstarter, God forbid, really go out of your way to make sure these are disinfected. because if not, you're going to have problems. You might still have problems even if you do disinfect them. But yeah, pretty, I don't know. Dude's trying to make some money on some earrings. Good for him. Next we have the Hexastorm. Looks like a fire in a box. Open hardware laser scanner suited for 3D printing.
Hello everyone, my name is Kickstarter. Today I want to ask for your support with the Kickstarter of Hexastorm. Like a very subtle change.
I thought he was holding a condom there for a second.
Not only on the 3D printing industry, laser scan polygon mirror. To project the laser onto a line at a constant speed and a constant angle of incidence, you need more. You need an expensive lens, a telecentric f-theta lens. Now this is such an f-theta lens. To summarize, system. Through a prism, by the Hexastorm tracks the laser bundle with
Something. He made something here.
FPGA. This even has two more in fact. If you're excited, start developing
It-
hardware with transparent
Yeah. It doesn't look like you can scan very big parts with this. And it always, like this, it's you can't, it's always weird to me when guys like push that their stuff's open source, and yet here we are paying for it. So, like, I don't know how that works exactly. So the lowest buy-in, besides the like BS, here's $1, you know, go make some stuff. The kit contains a 2100 RPM polygon mirror motor with a 4-sided transparent quartz prism not mounted. The source code, list of materials. So you don't even get a functioning unit for 192 pounds. You basically get a kit to make your own. This, like, surely this is not going to be a successful campaign because I don't think he communicated very well what exactly he has and what exactly is required of us if we would be interested. Like, I get that he's basically, he came up with a inexpensive way to replace an expensive lens that uses like a laser and a photodiode to do some scanning. But I don't know. I don't think he... Well, I mean, obviously, he has $111 of his $55,000 goal. I don't think he structured this in a way that's very accessible to someone who doesn't already understand what needs to happen here. You paid for the Prusa MK2, I think you mean, which is open source. Yeah, but I got a machine. Like that's I didn't pay for the plans. Finger crossed my laser engravers show up tomorrow. Where did you get your laser engravers? I've been flirting with the idea of getting some of like a laser engraver. They're so cheap on like sites like GearBest. So I don't know, guys. We'll have to come back to Hexastorm. They have like 3 weeks left. We'll have to come back and see if they hit their $55,000 goal. It's interesting. I just don't know if it's like it's a mix. I don't know if Kickstarter was a good fit for this kind of thing. Or if it's just that he didn't organize his campaign in a way that it's really self-evident what's going on here. Moving on. More terrain. Who doesn't love 3D printable terrain? They already hit their $200 goal. It's like I love that with these campaigns their goals are so low. Let's pause this a second. Would I recommend the ANet? I got to say yes. I've had a great experience with it. It prints surprisingly well. Here in the near future, I have an E3D V6 Lite, or a Lite 6, I think they call it, and I'm going to install the E3D6 hotend on it, but it already prints really nice, and hopefully it's going to print fantastically with the E3D6 or E3D on it, and it's like a $25 hotend. So even spending that $25 on it, which I've put $0 in it thus far, we're looking at what, like $185 printer that seems to perform really well. And if you're a tinkerer, that's the big thing. If you feel comfortable building a kit and working with it, I think it's a great starter printer. Nilla, have I printed your unicorn yet? I have not. I have not. So we got some more terrain here. Kind of cool looking choppy video of a building. Seems to be very... I was going to say, that building doesn't have a door. You can't even get in that shit. Very odd mix of buildings, though. Oh, that's a cool little bridge. This is a super strange mix of files. I gotta say, this is a super strange mix of files. Holy crap. That's a cool building. I could see using that for like Mordheim or a tabletop fantasy game. That's probably what they have sitting there. Yeah, that's a cool looking building. I dig it. And that's it. That's all the images they have. What the hell is this? I don't think that's their stuff. That's like the old GW Castle set, I think, that's been modified. That's a cool little image they have there to show the modularity of it, which it isn't modular. It's basically you have to put that building together, but... Those, I don't know. There might be a market for those. I'm not digging those buildings. Nor that one. That one's kind of I don't know. The bridge is cool. The cannon's kind of super random. And the walls are kind of weird. I gotta say. You get a catapult. This weird stone house. The chaise. What the hell? Like, what a random set of files. The ancient aircraft. The ancient aircraft. I'd say antique. Antique's probably a better word than ancient. Who don't need 55K without a reason? I'll take 55K if anybody's in the market for giving 55K away. This is a super, super random. A blimp. Of course, like everybody, every guy that does terrain needs like his blimp, his basically Model A, his Wright Brothers plane, the Great Wall of China, your ballista, your catapult, and your kind of like not very old sort of plane. That's like, this is like being wealthy on a budget. Like that's your budget manor house. Super weird set of files here. That's kind of cool. The church. We got some ships. Wow, that is a random set of files. What are they priced at? What's the whole package? $40 for the whole package? So random. That is so random. Has this person done... This person has... We have to look at this person's other projects. And of course, their other project... This is like... What the hell? I was expecting... Like, this is like an upgrade pack to a terrain set that they had already done. Their other project looks like a stainless steel sex toy, honestly. And I know I said that jokingly, knowing that it was a pen. This didn't make it look any less like a sex toy. It is kind of cool, though. I do like fancy pens. That looks... Guys, I would not buy this and carry it. If you'd ever get arrested... Good luck convincing a cop that that's not some kind of drug paraphernalia. Anyway, I knew that was like... wow. That's a weird one. This is a weird one. All right, moving on. Irresistible prints that demand touching. Really good video quality here. I don't know what this has to do with campaign at all. But it seems to be like a nicely edited video. Oh, okay. This is not the 3D printing that we're used to. This is 3-dimensional printing. That's kind of cool. It's just like embossed printing, I guess. World's best full color 3D prints. They have $5.46 raised. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's just like a really high quality conventional printing process. Not 3D printing that we're looking for. Seems cool though. That's like a badass piece of material right there. I'll give them that. Though it's from Italy, I probably can't afford this. Anyway, this isn't what we're really looking for. Yeah, it's Braille art, basically. I like how Nilla worried about being arrested with a sex toy. No, if you get arrested with a sex toy, that's not a crime, depending on what you're doing with it at the time of the arrest. But when you're arrested and you have something that, by all appearances, is a crack pipe disguised as a pen, that can be a situation you don't want to find yourself in. I can tell I'm already not going to dig this. This looks like a Thingiverse file, and their video is 3 minutes long. Get out of here. This does not take 3 minutes of video. So it's a modular SD holder. There's probably like 50 of these on Thingiverse. Again, not trying to hate on this campaign. Kind of cool design features and stuff, but I never finished printing them, but I started there's a ton of like cool SD card holders on here. I liked the little Swiss Army knife. Like there's like pages of these things. Just like pages upon pages of them. And there's a lot of cool ones. Tons of cool SD card holders. I would not pay for one. Folding? We'll try that. There was a cool, almost like pocket knife style design for an SD card holder that I remember seeing on here. Because I got the files pulled out and sliced them, but I never finished printing them. Oh, come on. Of course, yeah. I'll never be able to find it. It was on the front page for like ever. Anyway, you guys get the idea. There's a ton of these on Thingiverse. So what are their prices? About this project. These days, everyone needs a blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. So this whole paragraph is basically just that SD card holders are useful. We get that. Do you get an actual holder, though? I think you do actually get a printed holder. So I guess there might be people out there that don't have a printer that kind of want one of these. Their you can give them a little bit of praise on their quantity. I was going to say quality, but their quantity of videos and imagery. They've got a lot of both. I'll give them that. £9 for it. $12. I guess that's not an outrageous price. The normal price of like $19. I don't know. This is one of those Kickstarters that just makes me want to do a Kickstarter because I could print out some crap and sell it. You think it's thing? Did somebody find it? Because it was a cool item. I'll just get a random thing here and paste the number in. Yeah, that's it. This is the one I was talking about, like the cool like Swiss Army knife style knife holder. Oh, that video. Yeah, the video is terrible. I remember watching it. But it's kind of cool. It's like a Swiss Army knife style holder. And there's all kinds of different inserts that you can use for different SD card sizes and stuff. Outer shells. You can see it's pretty popular. 120 some comments. Ton of people have made them. Pretty cool design. Like I said, I kind of dug the design. I wanted to make one. Pretty nifty. Yeah. Just proving the point that if you do have a printer, man, buying prints is like not the smartest thing you could be doing with yourself. 3D ceramic Delta printer.
Hello, my name is Evan Pomerantz, and I would like to build a ceramic 3D printer.
I think that other company already like beat him to the chase because it would basically just be a matter, just like talking for the whole video. Basically you'd just be using, like he needs to save himself a whole bunch of time, get his kind of rickety Delta design here, buy that extruder thing from the other Kickstarter, and he's done. Because you could just basically use whatever material that you want to like fire, and you'd have your ceramics there. So what are we buying here? Like, are we basically paying him to build his Delta printer? Two reasons. Yeah, we're basically paying him to build his Delta printer. So basically, like, you're going to pay him money to build his printer, and then he'll send you something he makes with it. No, these aren't my favorite. If anybody's ever watched iDubbbz, he has done videos where he like rips campaigns apart, and like this guy probably means well, but come on, it's just like the other one. If you want to make yourself something and you can't come up with the money for it, who can't come up with $2,500? Honestly. Yeah, basically Gusner. Is it made out of MDF? It looks like it. Like, that's... Where was the picture? Was it... Oh, here it was. Yeah, it looks like he's building the wood. Yeah, because he's got some, like, splitting here. He's building himself, like, a wood delta. And trying to start a fire, by the looks of it. But, I don't know, best of luck to him. Like I said, he could save himself a whole ton of frustration and just, like, take this frame... because he doesn't even really say... He doesn't even really say what he plans to do to extrude this specialized material. Like, there's really... as these are currently, like, he has the models, and the models are like, they're okay. Again, I don't want to give people a hard time. He basically just has the aspirations of making this. He really doesn't appear to have any like approach to building the actual like clay extruder, which is probably not a simple thing to do, even though like we saw that other one, it looks simple when it's done. Things that look simple when they're done are usually the result of tons of time and thought and engineering. The funds themselves will be used to purchase clay, glaze, basic shipping supplies, a Delta printer kit. So he's not even using his ghetto MDF printer. He's going to buy a kit. Jesus. And a specialty extruder. I guarantee you he's going to buy this other one. I guarantee you. I wish it would tell us who the backers were. He probably is one of the backers for the Clay XYZ. I bet you. I bet you. He wants us to pay for his Delta kit and his Clay XYZ. I wonder if he like does he give like an estimated delivery time? Yeah, he's like September of 2017 is his estimated delivery, and this is supposed to ship in March 2028. He didn't time that out right. Anyway, I'll quit giving him a hard time. He wants to make a printer out of ceramic. No, see, that would be interesting at least. At least. So it's 3D printed pottery. Basically, that's I think what he's. Again, we're giving him money to build his thing, and then once he has his thing, he's going to like give you the little piece of pottery as like a thank you, I guess. 3D printed sci-fi miniatures objectives. Haven't seen any images. Oh, come on. These aren't the worst. I don't like the poker chip like bases on them. I think that's kind of meh. But I don't know. These are pretty they're pretty okay. This is the sort of thing I would expect to see on Thingiverse. They're okay. Again, let's quit giving people a hard time, guys. Quit giving people a hard time. These are okay. That's terrible. That's like I can give him a pass on the other thing. His civilian and high value target are terrible. Those don't actually look that bad. If you'd paint those up, again, minus the kind of like poker chip-esque base kind of thing he's got going on there. I don't like that at all. I would change that. Like that little crate, I would just, when I pulled that in my slicer, I would just sink it below the build surface so it didn't even print that thing. But yeah, I don't know. Not the worst. Depending what the pricing is. Oh god. Is he printing these? Wait. Surely he's printing these for $75? A full collection of objectives encompassing 2 of the recon sets plus a rescue set. Included in the set is 9 times antennas. He must be printing these. So $75 for like a bunch of PLA objectives. I guess that's basically the set you're getting. Prototypes. That's a little pricey, I guess. I guess there's a lot of things there. I don't know. $25 for 9 antennas. I guess that's not completely ridiculous. I was expecting these. Oh, you do. I'm confused. I'm confused. This is a campaign to produce actual physical models via 3D printing. If you have access, so he has the files on drive through. So what? Okay, so if you guys want these files, you can just go to like Drive-Through RPG and get them for $4. Are these his files? Rocket Ship Games. Yeah, that must be the same entity. Okay. So he's basically offering like a printing service for files that he sells. All right. Moving on. I don't think you do get the files. Because he has like a get the STL files link. That's like a $4 on top of this if you want the printed stuff and the files. Kind of a weird campaign. He did successfully fund it, and it's actually near me in Philadelphia, PA. He did hit his target, $250. This is kind of weird one. Honestly, he probably would have had a more successful campaign if he just sold the files at like a reasonable price. This would be a good opportunity because like he's already on Drive-Through RPG, but this would have given him some visibility because there's not that many 3D printing campaigns on here. So, whoops. Next, Glitch Art Project, Vase 3D. I want to do high-quality prints on fine art paper under acrylic glass to raise my portfolio. This appears to be a pay me to do something campaign. Yeah, so basically send him money so he can improve his portfolio and then send you some like trivial item. All right, $0. Good luck with that. Not 3D printing. Code 0. Highly detailed 32mm resin sci-fi miniatures, digitally sculpted, 3D printed, and cast in resin. They actually don't look bad. That's a render, obviously, but they don't look terrible. And if that's like an actual model, those are actually pretty nice. Code 0 is a 32mm miniature skirmish game set in the futuristic alternate universe. Oh, so this is actually like a game system. For $1, you get the rules and access. You get free. For $1, you get access to other stuff. If you give me $1, I will allow you to give me more dollars. $10, you get any one miniature of your choice. PDF rules. That's actually not a bad price. I gotta say, as miniatures go for like a custom mini like that, low run. Any one fire team for $30. Again, that's actually not a bad price, and it gives you stretch goals. They don't give you a discount at $60 though. You just basically get 2 times the $30 one. Any 3 fire teams? They only have 2 fire teams, I think. So you can get both our fire teams and any one additional duplicate of something you already got for $90. Again, no discount. I don't understand why. Okay. This one's not structured well. Well, they do have alternates, I guess. Because here you can buy this fire team for $30, or you can buy the other fire team for $30 and then add this on for $35. What? I'm confused. Looks like they have some additional pieces here to modify them a little bit. Or you can buy the unit for $10 a piece. These guys don't look too bad. These guys are all right, but the armored guys look kind of cool. The poses aren't the best, but they're not bad. Resin bases. People freaking love the resin bases. Acrylic templates are cool. That's actually not a bad price for acrylic templates. Stretch goals. It doesn't look like they have any of them unlocked. And they don't really have that many. I don't know. Let's look at... Well, I guess we did look at prices, but... I don't know. This one has potential. I think their prices are a little high. Not the worst. But they're... their add-ons are kind of structured in a weird way, where you're actually paying more to add these on than if you just buy, like say you'd buy one fire team and then want to add one of these onto that fire team, you're at $65, or you could just buy 2 fire teams and you'd get the rule set and the stretch goals. Which again, it doesn't this wasn't done very well. So, like, it has these guys, like say you'd buy these 2 fire teams, the only 2 they have. You get these guys and then they're actually like one of the stretch goals, right? Am I misunderstanding this? Those exact same guys are one of the stretch goals. So you get those in addition? Like, I don't understand. I don't know. They did hit their goal though. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, it's only $1,000 goal, but I don't know. This one wasn't structured all that well. Anyway, they all can't be winners, right? Choco block molds to make your chocolate go further. These 3D printed silicone molds. What? I didn't know you could 3D print with like silicone material. Definitely space their stuff out. Let's watch the video. They have a video.
The cocoa plant will be extinct before 2030 due to fungal disease on the planet. There is an increasing demand.
Yeah, I wish they'd had some of the finished printed pieces out.
Causing a deficit in chocolate around the world. This has a knock-on effect to the price of the chocolate and the quality.
Choco-Block is a mold which is designed to prolong your chocolate. The purpose of Choco-Block is to utilize your leftovers proactively and creatively. The long-term benefit of this is to decrease your desire for buying chocolate to reduce the demand on cocoa bean farms.
Whoever has leftover chocolate, come on.
Allows you to be creative making bespoke chocolate with a wider range of additional ingredients, of which contain natural fats and sugars for a healthy lifestyle. We designed a 3x8
You can tell that is 3D printed. That's on an FDM machine. I need to get some of that material. I didn't know you could print molds like that. That's pretty badass, I gotta say.
and used to this measurement, lasting 12 days in total. We cast the mold with eco-friendly silicone and used the 3D printing inverse model.
Oh, I see. That makes a lot more sense now.
Silicone allows the product to have flexibility, durability, is easy to clean. The mold is scaled to fit perfectly.
That's kind of cool. That's actually an interesting use of 3D printing, to do like a reverse molding process to actually make your molds.
We also put our environment and our resources. We want to spread the joy.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of an interesting application of 3D printing. Not really related directly to 3D printing. And their price actually is not that bad. $18, like, how does that work? 0 backers, 0 backers, 0 backers, and they have $18.56. Like, obviously, this isn't a concept that's going to appeal to that many people. But from, like, our perspective in the 3D printing community, yeah, it is an interesting use of 3D printing. I'll give them that. And it is kind of surprising they're not doing good at all, because their pricing is actually not bad. I've bought silicone molds for like hobby stuff before, and $31 for a mold like that is not really out of line. Did you miss anything good? Just some like crappy Kickstarter campaigns. Is that like a maker box? Is that what that printer looks like? I know that's like a really tiny picture. Oh, I effed it up. That kind of looks like a maker box. Am I wrong? I don't know this printer's that well, to be fair. But I don't know, that's kind of cool. Kind of a cool concept. Like, obviously, it doesn't appear that they're going to hit their $3,200 goal. But I think part of it's their page is like all super spaced out and stuff. It looks like they used imagery for their little things instead of actually typing it out. So, I don't know. Loosely related to 3D printing. It's just her mom supporting her. Probably. That probably is what's going on. The Klingen deck. These are like I was hoping there was going to be like more 3D printed stuff. or printing stuff. A minimalist 3D printed sound amplifying dock. Again, this is like a Thingiverse item. Not trying to hate on this, but yeah, there are a ton of these things on Thingiverse. What were the names? Apparently a car dude designed these. I was just going to ask, like, what's with the big color block? So the color block exists for no other reason than to cap the little laser cut piece in there. And this isn't amplified or anything. It's just like a horn. So your speaker is just like pushing sound out through the front, and it has like these different grills that are ridiculously named for cars that nobody really gives a crap about. I guess it's cool that you get all the colors. I can't believe they hit their goal. Again, this is one of those campaigns that just makes me want to do a campaign. But no one wants to have to fuck about in order to have less chocolate. As I said, like, you're never going to have leftover chocolate. Whoever has leftover chocolate. I have a wife. I never have leftover chocolate. So for $30, you get the Klingen dock. You get a black dock, 4 colored end caps, and 4 speaker grills. I mean, that's not an absurd price. They are going through the bother of laser cutting some wood and stuff. This does give me hope that if I ever do get a... is it a light forge? If I ever do get a light forge, I'll be able to make money with it, because this is not that great, and they're making some money with it. I don't know. Dude's making some money. Can't hate on him too much for that. I will not be participating. The V conduit turns a battery or wall adapter into a variable power supply. We promise it will not burn your house down. It does not say that. They don't promise that. Is this related to 3D printing at all? What are we seeing here? This basically turns mains voltage into USB power. Okay, so this basically just turns like different voltages into USB power. All electronic projects require voltage control. vConduit is an ideal programmable power controller for simplifying any power supply setup. Combined with a wall adapter, vConduit becomes a cheap adjustable power supply with an output range of 1.2 to 25 volts and a max current of 2.5 amps. It's kind of a, I don't know, I guess like a little board like this would be useful. These are not cheap. These are not cheap. So there's the give us money and go away donation. For $19, you can get one. That's not cheap. I've built several like electronics projects, and you can buy boards that are similar to this. They might not have exactly the same features, but you can buy boards that are similar to this for like a few dollars. I also don't know how this like ties into 3D printing at all. I guess just like the enclosure is 3D printed. Do they even mention that at any point? Like, why did this come up with 3D printing? Okay, it's in the title and that's it. So here's the only 3D print. Here's the only use of the word 3D. Turns a battery or wall adapter into a variable power supply. Useful for any electrical project. 3D printed case and software included. Okay. Moving on. So we have the Einstein S Fast Accurate Safe 3D Scanner for 3D printing. I wish I knew more about these. I have had the app installed on my phone, if anybody's seen that, where you can take like a bunch of pictures from different angles and it gives you a relatively accurate 3D scan to work with that you can pull into like some modeling software. I think your keyboard is broken, Dawn. It keeps typing like this. Let's I'll try to find that, Dawn. Let me pull another Kickstarter window open. Let's see if we can find it. Why didn't that come up in our results? That's not in our results. We'll have to we went over our time limit, but we're going to so this is the Rova full color. This is the Rova 4D. Full color Blender 3D printer. Yeah, let's check it out.
President and lead architect at ORD Solutions. We've had 2 successful Kickstarter campaigns. Our backer support made those projects a reality. We've listened to their suggestions.
There's a lot of filament hanging off those printers.
Faster, stronger, easier to use, and we've added a new dimension to 3D printing: full color blending. Introducing.
Before they put full color up on there, this could have been an ad for a marital aid.
Is an improvement in every way. It has a 12 by 12 by 12 inch build volume, aerospace grade aluminum frame, THK profile.
There are a lot of stepper motors on that thing.
Ball screw, dedicated dissolvable support and flexible filament extruders, automatic bed leveling, a print layer cooling fan, liquid cooled hot ends, and a wireless interface. As a 3D printer, it is the best value in the industry.
Are you sick of your printer not having 10,000 components? Try the Rova 4D.
Cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and white filaments and feeding
That's kind of
them
cool.
into one hot end where they are blended or mixed together at various ratios to get unique new colors. CMYK, like your office inkjet printer.
That's kind of cool.
Think about going back to black and white TV. Full color 3D printing is a better experience. Instead of buying filament in a specific color and then loading it into the printer, you simply select the colors you want visually from an infinite palette, and the printer automatically adjusts the color. Even though our professional grade printers will please even the most critical engineer, we've made it so easy to print in full color that even a child can do it. It's as easy as pick, paint, print.
He can't do it.
First, pick your model from the millions of free models that are already available online. Then paint the model.
I'm going to paint a gecko.
That's kind of cool if it works. Yeah, he's like, F yeah, look at my gecko. This is mine.
We're still prototyping.
That's kind of cool. I would assume it's not cheap. So, what is Canadian? How much is Canadian? It was giving me the conversions. So, $2,000 Canadian. So, 2,000 Canadian. So, for $1,400, you can upgrade your Rova Full D or your Rova 3D to the 4D. Let's find the Rova 3D. Holy hell. This is really accessible pricing here. So Rova 3D. How much was this thing? Where's okay? So Merry Christmas. That one's no longer available. So here for so we have $1,400 US, and we're already putting $1,400 in. So for $2,400, you can have this thing basically. Basically, right? That's am I getting that right? Imagine how long a print would be. Well, hopefully this would print. Again, I don't know, but I would assume since this is just like basically jamming filaments into the same extruder, this should, in theory, print at comparable speeds to a regular FDM 3D printer. It wouldn't be like the Prusa where it's constantly like ejecting and repurging and doing all that. So in theory, this should print at comparable speeds. Hey, this is interesting. Thanks for, was it Dawn?
Work by depositing one color of molten plastic.
Boring.
Build up a 3D shape. Our new technology works by combining CMYK coloring and 3D printing. plastic filament is fed into a mixing chamber where it's blended together and deposited layer by layer to build up a full color 3D shape.
Blendorific. I wonder how it handles, like, say we're, like the little robot they had there, right? He was kind of, like his knees and stuff are black, and we have parts that are black. I wonder how they handle those transition periods, because you're going to have, like, say we're doing a teal area, and we have, like, our teal color coming out that's like a mixture. I wonder how they purge that, like, if we want to do a hard transition to, like, black. I wonder how they'd handle that. I don't know, because you'd almost end up having to do, it's like a lot of those processes, the Prusa is the same way. You need a purge tower, like, off to the side, and you'd almost need it even if you're not using it. Like, say you'd have your little robot dude here, and all of your colors are CMYK up to the top, and he has, like, a black hat on. You'd kind of need to have, like, a purge tower that you're building the whole time just so you could purge at the very top to do his like, hat. I don't know. This is like some of those other campaigns. Someone buy this and then make us some videos on it so we can see how it works. Because there's, like, their Apple logo, and there's some fairly hard, abrupt color changes there. I wonder how they handle that. There they F their gecko up. This is our F up gecko. Here's how we fixed it. I don't know, interesting. They definitely have some color bleeding here. You can see on this piece, like, they've got some yellow bleed here, apparently, and then they've got some, like, other color bleeds over here. And you can see, like, the black bleeding in some of these areas where, I don't know, they might have issues with, like, actually purging those mixed colors out of their little extruder assembly. Oh, they do have, like, they do appear to have, like, a purge structure back there. And I guess it's a little less complicated because, being that the build platform is actually moving, they have a structure that's going to be appropriately oriented to the extruder all the time. So they actually don't need to build, like, a purge tower. But it appears they're not doing, like, a great job of purging. And look at that stringing, holy crap! And I guess that's something that could be adjusted in settings and stuff. But yeah, they've got some spaghetti action back behind there. They're making spider webs. Those are high-speed motion lines. Man, it looks like they definitely have got some purple, like, bleeding here. They've like, look how white. This is very white here, and then this is actually, like, a light gray color. Like, and it's really muddied in here in the middle. And if, like, this was a prototype, yeah, they've got some weirdness here. They've got some weirdness. I don't know. It seems like a cool technology, but it looks like they still have some kinks to work out. That almost looks like it was, like, cross stitch or something. They've got, like, a little spot of white in there peeking through. And again, like, this is not trying to beat people up, but the print quality on that is terrible. Like, those layers are kind of terrible, honestly. We've got a lot of blobbing. That is not a very clean print at all. And out of a $2,400 machine, when it's all said and done, that's not impressive. And this is, I would assume this is one of the better prints that they got out of this, if this is what they're using to, like, advertise this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool technology, and again, I'd love to see someone else buy this and try it out. I wonder how this is their other campaign. This was the original machine, I guess. And like, finished projects like this, where you can come in and like, you can order this now, even though this project, like, this campaign finished, like, a while ago. Come in and read comments. Like here, this was actually, that's from a while ago. Apparently they were not meeting their deadlines, which is not uncommon. All right, the Einstein S. Fast, accurate, safe 3D scanner for 3D printing. No sound. It's kind of creepy. Looks like how most of these scanners work. It almost looks identical to some of the ones that are already on the market. And like that, I hate when they do that. I hate when they do that. Like that is, like there they have, if someone didn't know better, you might think that that Iron Man action figure was something that they had printed or scanned or something, and that's just an action figure. Like I hate when they do that. That shouldn't even be in the shot, honestly. Except for like the shot of them scanning it. It's kind of misleading if people don't know any better. That's a pretty clean scan. I'll give them that. If that's like the actual scan, that's a pretty clean scan. Maker's Muse reviewed their old version. That's okay, so that's why it looked exactly like something I've already seen. And if I remember correctly, like Angus had some frustrations with it, so hopefully they improved. I know he had some trouble like getting it to scan some of the various items he was trying to. But no, the scan of the Hulk they had looked pretty clean. If that was actually, and again, there's some slightly misleading things with some of these campaign videos. But I don't know. This is technology that most people really aren't in the market for. 3D printed Iron Men. Like that. If that's their actual scan file that they haven't spent hours and hours and hours cleaning up. Like if that's the raw scan, that's crazy. That is a really high quality scan. That's fantastic. But I don't know. Like I said, this is the kind of stuff that's really not, I don't know, up most people's alley. And an Einstein S 3D printer with 5 rolls of filament. I don't think I've ever seen the Einstein printer. Or the Einscan. That's right, not Einstein. How much are these things? What's like the entry level buy-in? For $50, you can download 100 models they've scanned, or for $800, you'll receive a scanner. For $800. I don't know. I guess that's not outrageous as scanners go. I've only seen a handful, but most of them are pretty expensive. So, I don't know. That seems interesting. Oh, that one already completed. Oh, so we're already... How did we get on that one? We're past... there were some other ones that I was looking at before that didn't come up. Damn it, because there was a couple that I wanted to actually look at. I think this was one of them. The Waggle. Because I've seen videos of this elsewhere too. Just get a Connect 2.0. We've all been here. I can't tell you how many times my wife has bitched at me because I was trying to get a print started before we left somewhere. So I can relate to this video.
Why would you be doing this now of all times? You know how important this is to me. I swear.
This exact situation has played out in our house like 50 times.
Honey, we don't have time to be.
Well, at least our video is entertaining.
What is that?
Waggle, you can control your 3D printer anytime, anywhere.
Don't share your printer.
Maybe better way to do this. Waggle?
See, they kind of took it overboard. Like, I get the entertaining intro, but then they didn't really describe to us, like, how it works. Like, how does this work? Is it just like a remote camera? And can't you do this with, like, an Octoprint kind of setup? Isn't that kind of the point? Did she just fart? I don't think she did. She might have. Supported printers. What printers does this support? The Prusa i3, just all of them. It supports all of them, guys. Don't even worry. Just all of them. Prusa i3s. They do have a significant list here. I'll give them that. That's cool. They support all ramps boards. But yeah, like Dawn said, it basically looks like an Octoprint in like a little consumer unit. It's cool as a camera built-in, but you can do that in basically any setup with an Octoprint. But it's cool. It's cool. Like, I guess there are a lot of people out there that wouldn't want to mess with like a more Tinker-related, like Octoprint kind of setup where you have to do everything yourself. But I would assume there's some setup and stuff you have to do with this thing. So I guess you don't really avoid that. But I don't know. It's like a lot of things. The pricing will make or break this. So here's the Take Our Money tier. Here's the first early bird. And they have 20. They're not doing well. They have $80. So for $60 you can get one of these basically. You get an early supporter. As an early supporter of the Waggle, we want to provide you with the best Waggle team can offer. Claim a package for $60. They will retail for $100. That's not cheap. Yeah, that's not cheap. You can get like an Octoprint setup for way less than that. No 3D printed girlfriend Kickstarters. Or is an ESP 3D and a webcam? It kind of looks like, yeah, a combination of the two. Kind of interesting. I don't know. It doesn't look like they're going to do that well. $10,000. Again, they didn't really say why they need $10,000. They lead us to believe that this is already a developed product that they basically just want to sell to you. So why they need 10K, I don't understand. And it's kind of potentially setting them up for failure if it's an all or nothing campaign. If they do have these already like manufacturable, I don't know why they wouldn't have set their goal lower and just, be selling them to people. Octopi runs nicely on a Pi Zero. Yeah, I did finally watch some videos. It seems fairly straightforward to use. It's like a great little tool to have. Invest your money to me. Better way to help. Is there a red light district in Kickstarter? I don't think so. They could definitely make some cash on that. There was one thing that I wanted to touch on that I thought was cool, and I don't see it here. Oh, there it is. This thing looks cool. I did look at this a little while ago. This is the terrible, terrible name. Evazor. Takes you from prototype to production. 3D print, weld, cut, assemble, pour, carve, mill, draw, pick, place, engrave, and more. This is basically like the i3 of robotic arms. And this seems cool as hell to me. And I could be wrong. I think it basically runs off like the Marlin firmware. But it's like an open source robotic arm that you can, like, obviously this is a little project you can do yourself.
I wanted something easy to program that I could use from one job to the next.
But it basically has similar components to like a 3D printer, and it's a super versatile like arm that you can use to do all kinds of stuff.
Open source robotic arm that can help you fabricate and automate entire builds. And with a wide array of tool heads, it's basically a hackerspace unto itself. The This is a SCAR class machine. The structure is open source software.
But you see, they do like 3D printing, laser engraving, welding, drawing. Make yourself a margarita. And then you can apparently, I forget where the shot is, you can apparently integrate multiple ones of these to do multi-step processes relatively simply.
We believe this is the future of manufacturing. The ability to make what you want, where you want.
But I thought this seemed really cool.
Thank you to everyone for supporting this project. Together, let's kickstart the next industrial revolution and create a technology that allows us to work together to create a better world for everyone.
Though it's kind of like we talked about earlier, it's touted as open source, yet here we are buying it. So, like, these are basically, here's the take our money, you get some access to videos and stuff. You can get your name on a website, guys. Same kind of things. For $100, you get one of the things they've made. Okay. For $3,100, you can get one of these arms. Again, like where is the open sourceness of it? Like, I mainly just would like, if it is really open source, like I would like access to the things and be able to make my own, right? But it's kind of cool. They basically made I forget what they call those, like the monopod style 3D printers. They basically made one of those out of this, which is kind of cool because you basically just bolt an extruder on it and it functions the same as any other FDM 3D printer, which is kind of cool. Because if you look, it looks like it's basically like a ramps board. Like they basically have a ramps board. It's probably running like a Merlin-esque firmware, controlling a couple stepper motors and extruder. And that looks like an E3D Lite, like a V6 Lite, is the extruder they're using. Because if you look, the quality of the print is not perfect, but it's not bad. If you look on like the curve on the elephant's butt and stuff, it's actually a pretty decent print. They even did like the pyramid, whatever the hell that thing is. But it seems kind of cool. I thought it was, I don't know if anyone had seen this before, like the Maker arm. It is more expensive than the Maker arm. That's why, to me, the cool thing would be if it was open source, like just give us access to the plans. Like whatever modified firmware or whatever that you're using. It'd be a super cool little project to do. I did like this about the campaign. This is a thing that I wish more people would do, and I think it would keep some of the other campaigns that we looked at from even becoming a thing, is people explaining why they thought Kickstarter was a good fit. Interesting little couple paragraphs there. But yeah, I just wish they would just like not say it's open source and then like, or like, hey, buy one. Oh, I'll shut my mouth. Right here's their GitHub repo. Yep, it is. I figured it was. It's using like a modified version of Marlin, which is super cool. I think that's cool. That's like pretty sweet to me to take something like that and make something that's very much the same, but at the same time like very different. It looks like the only kind of specialty hardware, do they have? They don't have like their picture section. The only kind of specialty hardware are these, like whatever these joints are here. And I don't know if those are just pulleys because they have like a belt drive system. I don't know if that's basically just like a way for the stepper belt to interact with that front arm. But they seem like kind of big assemblies to do that. Probably have like a bearing block or something in there. Marlin, a smoothie board. It seems to be. Yeah, that is the tessellated pyramid. But I thought this was a cool project. I doubt anyone here is in the market for a $3,000 arm. It looks like approximately 0 people are in the market for a $3,000 arm. But I think this would be a really cool project because if you actually look at the machine, there's not that much to it. And it does look, I see actually in these earlier prototypes, it does look like these big pieces are just basically a bearing and belt interface for the joints themselves. So you could probably 3D print, those pieces. So as far as like actual stuff that you'd need to purchase, you basically just have this metal structure. This piece is kind of substantial because I guess that does have tons of leverage on there with all your steppers and everything hanging over, and you really do need it to be quite stable. But overall, I think it's a super cool concept. I could kind of see like if you have your arm assembly, like just building like an aluminum extrusion box for it and having the arm operate inside of that box, so you'd have a little bit more stable of a structure without having such a huge like base pillar that would have to weigh, like that thing probably has to weigh 20 or 30 pounds. The Helios can be built for about $500. Let's take a look at that. What is that? The Helios robotic arm? Will that bring it up? Rep Helios. Heyo. Yeah, it seems like basically the exact same thing. They just use a little bit more condensed design for the drive. Is that all the video is? That's all the video is. Come on now. This is a better looking machine. I'll definitely give you that.
And if you don't know what a riprap Helios is, you're probably in the majority because this is the first one ever. It's a prototype, and the final version won't.
If this is true, if this is like the prototype, this video is from April 14th of this year. So yeah, It's gonna change quite a bit. Guys, we need to make one of these. That's cool as hell.
So, if I add more mass to the end, I'll actually be able to move faster, and those frequencies will be dropped. Negative about this particular board is
That seems like so cool.
I kind of actually look forward to that.
And that design, that looks almost 100% 3D printed with the exception of some of the hardware and stuff.
Backlash and this and that. So, as long, I think I'm gonna be okay. The attention.
I'll have to. This is like a 20-minute video. I have to watch this then. Obviously not on stream, but yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. Who brought that up? Damn it, I can't find it. Pook. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, man. That's like a super cool project. Search robot arm on Thingiverse. We're going down the rabbit hole here, but I'll do it. Now, see, I've seen ones like this before with like servos. I've seen a ton of like servo-based, but I've never seen, or I shouldn't say never. I haven't seen many stepper-based arms before, which aren't profoundly different from servo-based ones, but that one's not quite as precise. But man, I'd love to do a project like that at some point. That would be super cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of them on here. But I just like the idea of being able to basically put any kind of tool head that you want on there. Like, that's such a cool concept to me. Such a cool concept. Put like an extruder, laser engraver, bolt my $20 Dremel tool on there. I guess it'd be hard to like register that or to get it oriented properly and accurately. But that's such a cool concept to me. I thought as soon as I saw this the other day, I was like, man, that's so cool. I don't think it's like $3,000, $3,162 cool, but definitely cool. And I think that's about it for 3D printing campaigns on here. I think we actually covered basically all of them. I don't know why that didn't come up the first time around, because it didn't for whatever reason. But None. This is kind of cool. A Commodore 64. That was actually the first printer I ever, or a computer I ever had, a Commodore 64. You can turn a Raspberry Pi into a Commodore 64. That's kind of cool. Anyway, that's it was 3D printed elements, but I think we basically covered most of them. There's a couple other things. The Astro box, I have seen that on here. It's like a touchscreen interface for some printers that don't have them. Which it's like a really basic concept. It's basically like tethered printing without an actual computer. It's like using like a mini computer, and like this one got funded really quickly. I remember people talking about this on my Facebook and stuff. It's kind of cool. It's not something that's ever going to be for me, honestly. I don't know if they actually say what the platform is. A lot of times these will be like Pi based, and they really won't say that. I don't know if they say. I actually haven't read through the whole campaign, but it's here, the Astro box, if you want to check that out. They're not cheap either. $150. I think that's like an early bird. And then like $225 for the kit. Oh, it is a Raspberry Pi 3. That's what I figured. For $225, you can source your own parts for a lot less than this. Honestly, 3D print yourself a nice little case. You're going to be running like a little Raspberry Pi setup. And this does offer you like a cloud service and stuff, but it's not really something that's ever going to be for me, honestly. But it's cool if you're in the market for that. They will have a little bit more polish than you'll probably get out of something you'll do yourself, but you don't have quite as much control over something you do yourself, so. But yeah, like Marcus said, Astroprint is legit. They're a decent company. They have decent support. Like I said, it's been brought up before in some of the Facebook groups, and I've participated in some discussions about it. It seems cool, just won't ever really be for me personally. I'm a waggle guy. I'm all about that waggle. All right, let's make this the last one. This is I have not seen this one before. An industrial 3D printer, closed loop, open source software. Got like a dual extruder set up there. This is just like anybody that's familiar with the stuff, like I am now because I've been on their site like a million times. This is just like open builds hardware here. This is their like pre-manufactured end stop pieces with pulleys in them. This is just their railing. They're kind of like acrylic wheel kits. This is something you can build yourself. So I'm hoping it's not very expensive. Proximity sensor, kind of like a Pinda. Marlin firmware based, like everything is. Seems like decent print quality, I guess. Oh, I thought that was 3D printed at first. It looks like they have like a big aluminum assembly for their extruder. No recalibration, no time loss. That's not a bad print. It looks like it's leaning a little bit for some reason. I don't know if it's supposed to be. I don't think it is. It looks like it's leaning a little bit. And then like this one's really smooth but leaning, and this one's square but not the highest print quality. All right, I have a feeling this thing is going to be expensive. Yeah, there it is. $3,300 for your fully functional OL 1720S industrial grade 3D printer shipping in the United States. 315 degree extruder, which is kind of nice. That gives you access to basically any 3D printable filaments that are on the market right now, as far as I know. It's cool. It has an enclosed aluminum, enclosed aluminum structure. But as you can see, like, you guys can build this yourself. It's just like extruded aluminum pieces, and like you'd have these sheet aluminum pieces over the outside. But once you have a nice frame like that with the extruded aluminum, there's a million ways to enclose that really easily. And then, like I said, it might not be that company, but Open Builds sells these exact pieces to build that inner frame. So the only thing that would be unique would be their build plate and kind of extruder setup. It is nice that it has a removable build plate and stuff. I wish I had a printer that had that. That makes, man, you can really knock prints out if you have that. Bed leveling with dual extruder on the same gantry doesn't work. Dual extruder, no index. I guess you meant index, no thanks. Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those ones where I don't know who this actually appeals to. And I think it's going to be reflected, like, I would highly doubt this campaign is going to be successful. It's like a weird combination, though. Like, they have a really low goal, which if you're building an industrial 3D printer, like $15,000 is like nothing. Which leads me to believe that there's basically very little R&D involved. Like $15,000 is even like nothing to get pieces like this manufactured. Like, if you're doing it on any kind of scale, like, that's like no money. Especially when like you have a $15,000 goal and one of your pledges is $5,800. So basically, if you sell three printers, your goal has been met. That's kind of weird. I don't know. It's an odd campaign. Might not be a bad printer. I would like, who said that? No, IDEX. Was it Cazalar said? I would be interested to see some feedback from someone who'd use this long term. I could foresee some issues with that. Like, the dual extruders are just, I think there's way better approaches than to have two rigidly mounted dual extruders together. Because like this, what's the other extruder doing? How they didn't address, like, is it oozing the whole time? Does it have an ooze shield? Like, sure, it's your dual extrusion system is going to work great if you're only ever using one of them. You're never going to have any problems. And like, all the prints they showed were just using one of them. And that's not that great of a print. I mean, it's not terrible, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. When is your next Dungeon Tile video going to be coming out? It should be this Friday. I've got actually printed. I can grab it real quick. Actually got a towel printed while we were doing this today. Looks okay. I've been slowly getting back into the swing of things. This is one of the Tilescape tiles. This print's actually kind of ugly. I don't know what I don't know what the hell's been going on with my MK2 lately. My MK2 has not been printing well. I talked about that before. Like the A8, I actually at this time I actually have more confidence in the A8. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's not that great of a print. Like the finish on the top of that is, like, I hesitate to say terrible, but it's not good. It's like it's under extruded really bad. It's kind of weird. I've really been struggling. I have old files that I sliced that seem to print okay on the MK2, but everything new that I sliced does not print very well. Closed loop intelligent motor control is the future of 3D printing. Expensive though. It offers. We'll have to talk about that sometime. We don't have much time today. The difference, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't know the difference. Time for maintenance on the Prusa. I keep it. I'm sorry. I keep it maintained. It probably is time to change the nozzle, though. That is a changed nozzle. That only has probably 100 hours of print time on it. Insaniac. Yeah, man, I'm on top of all that. We did that long ago. The latest slicer has some issues. I'm using Simplify, actually. But yeah, the calibrator's been extruded forever, and the PID tuning is good on the MK2. Belt tension's good. The only thing I can think is maybe nozzle wear. But like I said, that nozzle only has maybe 100 hours of print time, which is nothing with PLA. And I've only been printing PLA. And this is the eSun PLA Plus. This stuff prints great on the A8, and it used to print great on the MK2, but it's kind of been printing like shit lately. But yeah, I don't know. It's been frustrating me for about the last 2, maybe 3 weeks. It's like the MK2 got the flu or something. It's just been kind of acting kind of shitty. If using Simplify, I might try the Prusa slicer. I tried both actually, and they're both about the same. I don't know. They both, like, Slicer is so weird. Some of the I tried slicing a couple files with Slicer, and the tooling paths were just like bizarre. And the one thing I was doing was kind of small, and the way Slicer kept like pathing the extruder was like messing the print up, and it was I don't know. It's hard to describe, but it wasn't filling the infill in the way it should have, and it was causing some problems because it was a really small print. But which firmware am I running? I haven't updated the firmware in maybe like a month or 2, so it wouldn't be like the newest. And it's one of those deals where everything was fine and then it just wasn't. And I know Dustin Jatman a while ago was talking about he was having a similar thing with Simplify, where it's like that's why it's weird to me. Like, for instance, make everybody cringe here. We're gonna get some spinners out, but I only get these out as an example. Like, this is a file that I sliced long ago, and I know that's a little out of focus, but these spinner files I sliced like months ago. These still print beautifully. Like, this is a 2-color file. You can see the print quality is great. There's even like that sheen, because it's just so consistent. Like, the walls of this print are fantastic. Top and bottom surfaces are pretty damn good. All is well. Looks great, right? And you can see I've been printing these out. I have a bunch of different colors. I've been selling these things like crazy. All is well. But I try to slice new files and they print like shit. Like this, I was not expecting it to be beautiful, but man, the top layer, I don't know if I can get let me show you guys just how bad this is. And keep in mind, this is with a slicing profile that I've been using forever. This is like a known good profile. I'll try to get this focused here. Get her up close. That's freaking ugly, man. It's like it's under extruded around some of the little like divots and stuff. And the holes are part of the file, so those aren't the problem, but it's just kind of rough. And the thing I printed before that file was this baby blue and silver spinner, which printed out fantastically. So I don't know. That's why I don't think it's a worn nozzle. As with anything, I could be wrong. Too few top layers. That's 6 top layers. So that's not the problem. And I don't know, it's a little tough to see, but it looks like it's like way under extruding. Because it's like some of the perimeters around the details and stuff, like the layers aren't touching. But then again, file sliced with the same profile a month and a half ago, out of the same software, same nozzle, same filament, same everything. And like I said, the top layers on this look fine. I mean, they're not perfect, but they're acceptable. Actually, it's like this blue one, for instance. It's actually so good that I have trouble telling which layer is the top and which is the bottom. Because it's I'll show you both. Like there's one. I'm not sure whether that's the top or the bottom. Or the top or the bottom, and they're both just like super smooth. They're like fantastic. Like the quality on this file is great. And I printed this like 2 days ago. Same exact setup all around, same profile, same everything. But yeah, like Yosef, I'll try that. I'll try cold pull. I've tried everything. Maybe my Simplify 3D got hacked and it's ransomware. Yes, they're like, send us $50 or your printer's going to print like shit. I wish it was that simple. What is the material between the heat bed and Y-axis carriage in the MK2? Ron, if you look a while back, we did a cork insulation. It's a sheet of cork to insulate the underside of the heat bed. That shouldn't be affecting anything, I wouldn't think. It's the Prusa Cork edition. But that actually, I've actually loved that since I've done it. It helped further cut noise down, because it insulates some of the rattle that comes from the that resonant kind of metal on metal noise from the linear bearings and the heat bed or the Y-axis and stuff. But yeah, that's what that is. We did a video a while ago. I think it's called Prusa Cork Edition or something. I forget where it is exactly. But if you go check out that video, the beginning of it's installing it. And it's like most of my videos. It's kind of long, but only the beginning is... Wow, we did that a month ago? Has it really been that long? But yeah, here, actually found it. Prusa Cork Edition. And we put some cork on there. This video has 6 dislikes. Screw you guys. Screw all you all. But yeah, we put some cork under there. And it actually works great. We did some testing with timing and heating up the bed and stuff. And it did improve the time to heat up the bed to 100 degrees. It didn't make a huge difference heating up to like 50 to 60 degrees for PLA. But heating up to 100 for some of the other materials, it did make a noticeable difference. But yeah, that's there if you want to get some more info on what exactly was going on with that. 6 dislikes. Some people can't be pleased. We class up our Prusa with some cork. People don't like it. Is it doing it to the material fresh out of the package? This is as fresh as it gets. Like, I literally just opened that roll. I don't know if you can see it back there. That's a 100% brand new roll. The box and stuff still sitting out on the table over there. Yeah, that filament had been open for about 30 seconds before I started printing with it. So, brand new roll. And I did check the diameter. It's like spot on. The eSun PLA Plus has been pretty good for dimension. Kill him. Haters gonna hate, man. I'm kind of used to it. I'm not even like that big of a YouTuber, and I'm already used to it. Some people can't be pleased. Steven, yes, several people have suggested that, like actually comparing the Simplify or the G-code files. I have to do that, but it's a little time consuming to do that, so I have to sit and do it someday. But maybe I'll do that. We'll have to do that some evening on a stream, and because I've never done that before, like actually like went through the G-code files and checked settings. I'm sure some people would find that useful. Go and like the video. Don't. Everybody's gonna go dislike it just to get under my skin. I had that happen with a video before. Test the same filament. Well, it's not just the filament. I know it's funny to say that. It's been consistently bad. The other night, I forget what day that was. I think it was like the night before I streamed. I think I was getting a batch of spinners ready because as it is now, like I have the spinner bodies and the little buttons separate in files, and it's kind of a pain because it's fine for the 2-color spinners because these have a color change in them, but when I want to do everything all in one color, it's kind of a pain because I have 2 separate files I have to print. It's easier if I just had them all in one file, so I went to reslice them all together, and I cannot get them to slice so they print right. But yeah, I don't know. I already had people messaging me telling me I need to put my tinfoil hat on. But like I said, I sliced the spinner body like 9 times the one night. I spent like 2 or 3 hours doing it where I just like reslice it and test print it, and I could not get it to print right. So I should probably order some like new nozzles, tear the extruder down, make sure everything's okay. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's been going on with it. I just thought the timing was funny, like the Prusa's being a pain in my ass, and I also recently got the A-net, and that thing has been fantastic. Though I did have it off for like 3 days, and I think the Z-axis kind of like drifted down, and it was printing kind of crazy for a while, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and I realized like the one side had dropped like a couple millimeters, and it was printing uneven. Because I kept trying to re-level the bed, and I couldn't get it to like level right. And I finally measured the each side to the bottom of the x-axis carriage, and it had dropped a little bit. It's hating the A-net. Yeah, my MK2 is being a little prissy because I made it sit beside the A-net. It's like making Paris Hilton sit beside like a homeless guy. She's not happy. You got a code section on the forum side that's good for G-code. Yeah, we'll have to do, like I said, one of these evenings, like after my wife and stuff goes to bed, I might kind of randomly jump on and sit and do that and walk through it. Because there might be something obvious in there, and I kind of suspect that there is. That's why I said Dustin Jatman on YouTube said he had a similar problem where older slices of files were working fine, but like slicing new ones, he was getting undesirable results. And there's a little bit of suspicion that Simplify 3D is pushing kind of like stealth updates that it's not really drawing attention to. That's kind of like changing the way files are being sliced. But like I said, I talked about that before, and people told me to get my tinfoil out, so I won't say too much about it. But it would be interesting to see on that level like what's different in the files. So. But yeah, I guess that's it for today. Like usual, I kind of wanted to go for an hour, and here we are at 2.5. So we're right on schedule. So we'll go ahead and wrap things up, I guess. Hopefully this wasn't, like I said, I've never done this before. I've personally never really been on Kickstarter looking at 3D printing stuff. So hopefully this was interesting / useful to anyone who wants to get on there and potentially back some things. I know, like, I'm one of those people that it's always helpful to see other people's thoughts and criticisms of things before I make a decision. So yeah, hopefully this was a cool little chill out session. It was supposed to be an hour, but actually think I kind of missed an appointment, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Use Cura. I do need to try that. I do need to try Cura out. I have never even installed it. I did kind of get forced to use a different slicer with the Trinus. So I can say I've used something besides Simplify and Slicer now. But thanks, Gusner. Yeah, we did hit, if anybody noticed, we did hit 3K subs. Growth had kind of dipped there for a while. I know YouTube's having some tough times, and I wasn't making videos there for a while, which kind of hurt with videos getting recommended to people and stuff. But we're slowly getting back in the flow. The daily averages for subscribers and stuff is back up, so stop listening to Dustin's tinfoil hat theories. I thought, to be fair, I thought it was like nonsense at first, but then I started thinking, my print quality had been degrading for a while, and this was after a nozzle change and keeping everything calibrated and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully there's nothing to it, because that's going to be a hard problem to fix. Probably have to use like a different slicer. But I know there's a new version of Slicer out that I need to install and give that a go. And I still haven't tried Slicer on the ANET. Everything in that has been actually old slice files that I've done. I haven't sliced anything new. But, yeah. Anyway, guys. What does my family think about my 3D printing? My daughter loves it. She thinks it's cool as hell. My wife doesn't care about anything I do. We have one of those relationships. Like, we're just, I don't know. My wife and I have been best friends since like high school. So she likes me and doesn't give a shit about anything I do. I was out on the porch shooting my slingshot the other night. Because I do have a video coming up on these things soonish. I don't have that one down here, but man, that other slingshot I've been shooting, I'm getting pretty damn good with that. I'm getting pretty damn good with that thing. There's a tree in our yard that's about 180 feet away. I measured it, and I can consistently hit that thing from our porch. 180 feet's like not super far, but that's not close with a slingshot, shooting marbles at it. But anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out for a while. If, like I said, if this video is kind of received well, we'll probably do something similar in a while on Indiegogo. Because Indiegogo is still kind of like the Wild West compared to Kickstarter, and even Kickstarter can be kind of like Wild Westy. So it's interesting to see the differences between the two and like the different dynamics they have and the way campaigns tend to be. And if we ever do that, we'll talk about the differences, because it's not really relevant if we never look at Indiegogo. But if we do, there's some pretty profound differences between the two, and you'll notice it on campaigns and stuff and the way they present themselves and the stuff they have. And I think actually the one campaign we looked at today is not okay. I don't think it fits their terms of service on Kickstarter. It should probably be pulled down because they didn't have anything. But yeah, we'll be streaming Thursday. Hopefully, I guess I can't really say anything. I don't know what time Thursday, but I will stream Thursday. More likely to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, like normal, as opposed to the evening, but I don't know. Have to wait and see. Have to see if my wife has another appointment or anything. And we'll have to see if the baby comes. The baby's going to be popping out here like any day now. I think my wife is 38 weeks, and she's starting to dilate and stuff already, so we are in the home stretch, so it's hard to tell exactly what's going to happen when all that goes down. So we'll have to wait and see. If I don't get a chance to jump on YouTube, which I probably will, even if the baby pops out, I can jump on for a little bit and let everybody know what's going on. But if you don't follow me on Twitter, consider it, because I do periodic updates and stuff on there, because it's a little easier than jumping on YouTube. But 10 a.m. Eastern Standard is 16 in Belgium. What's that, 4 p.m.? Live stream the birth? No, that's all right. We're not live streaming the birth. I wouldn't care, but I don't think my wife would be down for that. Do you listen to music often? I listen to, I'm like a lot of people my age. I listen to a lot of shit that I listened to in high school. And yeah. I tend to be an album guy, depending on the day. Have you checked Pocket Maker? I have not. We'll Google Pocket Maker, and then we'll call it a day. Pocket Maker. Oh, it's on Indiegogo. Holy crap, that is a small printer. We're not going to talk about it, but I will share that screen for a second. That is a small printer. Holy crap. That's exclusively for printing Marvins and Benchies as a Benchy maker. Look at that build area. That was actually pretty full in there. I'm kind of surprised that it fit a print that big. It's like the print is leaving the machine a little bit. That's kind of crazy. No, we will have to do an Indiegogo day sometime. Because it's interesting to see the differences. There's a lot of different stuff on there. The M3D's little sister. Boy or girl? It's a boy. It's a boy, so we're going to have a boy and a girl. We kind of lucked out. Prints are done fast. I wish the day's going to come where that's like real time. Like the time lapses are actually going to be how fast printers print. Someday. All right, guys. I'm going to reslice this file and try reprinting it again. I do have a brand new brass 0.4 millimeter nozzle. I'll throw that on there, see if it makes a difference. I'm kind of suspecting that it won't, but maybe, like I said, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I'll take a picture of this one, print another one out. It'll be done in about an hour, and I'll put a picture up with a new nozzle and see if it makes a difference. Hopefully it just like magically fixes the problem, because I'd love to have my MK2 back. Get it over its flu. Have I picked a name? Yeah, my wife picked the name because I picked my daughter's name. It's Paxton. Paxton Bean. Post the G-code somewhere. Yeah, I'll try to get them rounded up. I'll try to slice them with the exact same settings. It's going to be hard because I've tweaked my retraction settings and stuff, but that shouldn't be making a difference like this. That shouldn't be affecting things like this. But anyway, guys, I'm lingering. We talked for another 17 minutes. I'm going to go. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see you guys Thursday. Follow me on Twitter if you want updates and stuff, because things are going to be weird here in the future depending on how things go. But thanks for hanging out. I already said that, but I'm going to get going. Peace, guys.